whiskey drinking, beer swinging, hell raising. All right, everybody. Besides all that, I am Steve, and this is A is for Alice, B is for Bob, C is for... what is C for? Oh, let's go with controversy. Yeah, my jazz video got some people uptight, man. What's going on, Daddy-O? Better grab yourself a scotch on the rocks, maybe a hit of a doob. You know, turn down the lights, put on some Coltrane, cool out. Okay, so two things I do not do. I do not do long form videos, and I do not do tribute videos. Because sometimes it seems one of our favorite rock stars has passed. Body's not even cold, and there are videos out there. And I think a lot of those are just for clicks and for views. Maybe that's just me thinking that. I don't know. But the one that really came to mind for me was Melanie. Remember her? Like 1971, 72. I got a brand new roller skate. You got a brand new key. Annoying as fuck song. But when she passed away, right away I saw like 2 videos for her. I'm like, come on, Melanie, really? She had one song, and I get it. Somewhere out there in the world is the world's biggest Melanie fan. Maybe that's who one of those 2 people were. I don't know. But anyway, we're doing Mr. Glenn Hughes of Deep Purple fame, of Black Country Communion fame, of Trapeze fame. And why, you ask? 2 reasons. A lot of 2s here. Saw a video from Peter. Music is a Journey over in Japan. He did a video about, and Peter does long form videos, excellent. But his video was about the last 5 studio albums by Later Day Yes. And he talked about how, you know, once Chris Squire passed away, the band kind of changed for him. And I get that. Chris Squire, my favorite bass player of all time. So I'm right there with Peter. I will leave a link to that video so you can check it out. And also, another video that comes to mind is Gary, Physical Format Rock and Roll. Now this is a man of integrity. His moving video upon the death of Jeff Beck was moving. Brought a tear to my eyes. I will leave a link to that video too. So here we go. Up first. 1970. Oh, wait a minute. Let's get back to the man of the hour. Mr. Glenn Hughes, born 1951. Yes, he's going to be 75 next year. Born in Staffordshire, England. Only child, I believe. And his first album, the Trapeze, debut, 1970, along with Mel Galley on guitar and vocals. And Dave Holland of Judas Priest, what he played there with them from British Steel until Ram It Down, until you really wanted to ram it down Dave's throat, because Dave was a bad guy, man. He became more infamous later on for he was found guilty of attempted rape, I think 5 counts, and and indecent assault on a 17-year-old with learning disabilities. A true scumbag. I can't believe he only got 12 years in jail for that. But anyway, this album, it's on Threshold Records, vanity label of the Moody Blues. And John Lodge, bassist of the Moody Blues, produces the album. In fact, he produces their first 2 albums. This album, here they're a 5-piece at this point. They've also got, what the hell's his name? Terry Rawley on keyboards and vocals. And then you got John Jones. Not John Paul Jones. No, John Paul Jones was busy in Led Zeppelin. You got John Jones on trumpet. Yeah. And vocals. So I'm going to tell you, this album, you're not going to find other albums like it in Glenn's discography, and it's a huge discography. This is kind of prog-like, psyche. It's a good album, but you know what? First album at 19, What the hell were you doing at 19? I can tell you what I was doing. I was playing in a band, nowhere good as Trapeze. So then up next we get Medusa. And this comes out 6 months later. Yeah, because that's how they did it back in the 60s, kids. You did 2 albums a year. There's another 2. Jesus. Okay, so, and once again, John Lodge produces it. But now they are stripped down to a 3-piece band. They are a power trio. They are laying it down. They got rid of the trumpet player and the guy at keyboard saying goodbye, we don't need you. But what they do, I believe he does play on this album. I believe Rod Argent does make an appearance on this album of the Zombies. I think he plays keyboards. So I will tell you this, though. The song, Seafull, really good. Glenn's nailing the vocals, and also it's the first song that I would say that Mel Galley really gets to stretch out and shows his prowess, as some would say, on the guitar. Up next, then, how I came upon them. Oh, there you go, you see. Threshold label. Their album, You Are the Music, We're Just the Band. This is how I found out about them. I was at my buddy Dean's apartment. He plopped that on. I said, who the hell are these guys? He threw me the album cover. I will be buying that the next day, I believe I said, and I did. So, at this point now, excuse me, Glenn has taken over as chief songwriter. I think he writes 5 of the 8 songs on here. His true calling card is on this album, the song Coast to Coast, which he'll do live every once in a while. Not so much more now. He does a lot of his other solo stuff in Deep Purple. But he is doing his soulful best, Ray Charles, in Coast to Coast. That takes care of the first 3. He leaves Trapeze because fame and fortune comes a-calling in the name of Richie Blackmore and Deep Purple. And Glenn not only joins the band here, but so does David Coverdale on vocals. And if you know the album, you know that they play off of each other very well, Coverdale and Hughes. You can hear it right on the opening track, Burn. So, let's see here. Yeah, no songwriting credits on this album for Glenn. Almost forgot about that. And this is as good as any point to start talking about Glenn's picadillos, because Glenn has led the hedonistic rock-style life. No doubt about it. He ends up sleeping with all the Runaways, I think with the exception of Joan Jett. Ends up shagging, yeah, baby, Angie Bowie. And there's more to come, though. Stay tuned. So then, November of the same year, 1974, like I said, got to do 2 a year, especially in the early 70s. Stonebringer. Now, Glenn's getting to flex his muscles. Now, this album's a little funky. Richie doesn't like that. But Glenn, he co-writes 6 of the 9 songs here, so his impression is indelibly stamped. Oh, that's the name of album by Supertramp. We're not here to talk about them. So anyway, yeah, Richie Blackmore, he says, man, I can't take the funk. I'm getting out of here, but not yet, because we also have this album, The Butterfly Ball. This also comes out in November of 74. This is kind of a vanity project for Roger Glover. It is The Butterfly Ball and The Grasshopper's Feast. It's a rock opera. Everybody did them back then. So Glenn Hughes makes an appearance on here. So does Ronnie James Dio. And here's a nice segue. Little does the rest of the Deep Purple band members know, but Richie is in the background working with Ronnie James Dio, starting to think about forming a little band called Rainbow. But before that happens, This is recorded April 75 in Paris and Graz, G-R-A-Z, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, Austria. I know Blackmore thinks Stormbringer was crap. I don't know how he feels about this because Smoke on the Water they break into with a little help from my friend. I don't know if that's up Richie's alley. So that is it. Richie says goodbye. So now they have to come up with. Oh wait, we forgot about this one. Got the farewell appearance by Richie here, made in Europe. So obviously Glenn Hughes still in the band. This is an abbreviated version of the concert because I don't know why they only put 5 songs on this album. It had to be just a cash grab for the record company. So all right, so Richie leaves. Bye-bye, Richie. And the band has to come up with a guitar. So, I mean, they're going through all the usual suspects. They're going through Rory Gallagher, Jeff Beck, Clem Clemson of Humble Pie. Also try Ronnie Wood from, Faces have basically disbanded because Rod's solo career was taken off big time. And David Coverdale makes a big push for a hotshot guitarist, he heard on Billy Cobham's album Spectrum. Ooh, that's jazzy. And he says, let's see if we can get him. As fortune would have it, Tommy lived about a half hour away from where Deep Purple were practicing and writing the music for the upcoming album. They bring him down, jam for about an hour, offer him the job on the spot. So out of those jam sessions came this album, the California Rehearsals. So you hear some of the songs that are on Come Taste the Band. You hear Drifter, a couple versions of it, and then Ode to G. But you also get them playing Statesboro Blues, and then there's just some other long extended jams and stuff. Just them having fun, getting to know each other. But then, November 7th, 1975, top 5 Deep Purple album for me. Come Taste the Band. And it's not just because of Tommy Bolin. I love these songs. Very good, solid album. Glenn and Tommy, they co-write Getting Tighter. Starting to hear the funk. So yeah, we get a match made in heaven and hell here because Tommy and Glenn, they love their cocaine. And that's fine as long as you control yourself, but neither of those guys could. Thankfully, years later, Glenn gets it under control, but Tommy doesn't have much left in his life to live at this point. So, in fact, Glenn leaves the recording of this and he goes back home to England for his first stint in rehab. And so Tommy Bolin plays bass on the opening track, Coming Home. Love that song. Great Tommy Bolin guitar solo. And Glenn's not wild about that song. I don't know if that's just, I'm not going to say sour grapes because he didn't play on it, but take it for what it's worth. And here is a prime example of the pot calling the kettle black. Tommy Bolin now, a man who loved his cocaine, said he didn't like being around Glenn when he was doing cocaine because Glenn was just a bit too paranoid for his taste. So, yeah, he said he became hyper paranoid. So there you go. Fantastic album. Up next, Tommy Bolin, just 10 days later, November 17th, releases his debut solo album. Glenn makes an appearance here, and he sings the third verse of the song Dreamer, third song, side 1, my favorite track on the album. Glenn kills the vocals. Great guitar solo by Tommy once again. So at this point now, it's a very, very convoluted story. If this were a soap opera, you'd probably have a better chance of believing what's going on here. Okay, so Glenn's girlfriend, Vicky, ends up marrying John Lord in 1975. Somewhere in 75, Glenn slept with Tommy Bolin's girlfriend, Karen. Okay? more of this to come later. So now we get the last concert in Japan. This last time Tommy Bolin plays with Deep Purple in Japan. This one is actually cleaned up a little bit, but they do break into a nice version of Georgia on My Mind. Like I say, Glenn can sing Ray Charles. So that was December of 75 when it was recorded. Came out later. So now at this point, Glenn is 25 years old. And he starts dating 17-year-old Linda Blair, The Exorcist fame. Let's face it, number of us, I'm sure. You were 19, dating a 16, 17-year-old girl, 20, dating a 17, whatever. Not going to pass judgment on Glenn for that. Linda was a wild child too anyway. So in 76, Karen, now mind you, this is Tommy Bolin's old girlfriend, she decides to leave Tommy. She's going to move in with Glenn and Linda Blair, okay? I think we all know what happens next. Yep. Glenn and Karen sneak off in the night. Bye-bye, Linda. She's left to cry on her pillow. So then we get this beauty. I just picked this up, and I have this on CD and a couple other. This has been released under a number of names. One is something Russian Foxbat, and there's a couple others. One is, I think, just Deep Purple in concert presented by King Biscuit. But anyway, this is Long Beach, 76. Very, very good album. And I'm glad that this came out because they really cleaned it up. And you got some nice stuff here. Oh, yeah, because in here, Smoke on the Water, too, they do break into the Georgia on My Mind version on this also. So, very solid album. And, so, yeah, that is pretty much, they do a European tour. And Deep Purple then breaks up. John Lord says that's it. This isn't what it used to be. It's no longer fun. And Glenn is really the last to know because Coverdale's already thinking about going out on his own. And so now Glenn and Karen, they get married. And not sure how it ends up happening, but somehow Frank Sinatra's personal valet is the best man to Glenn and Karen's wedding. So there you go. There's a little trivia question for you. So 1977, on Purple Records, Glenn releases his first solo album, Play Me Out. Now this is a little funky, a little soulful. It's not my favorite Glenn Hughes solo album by any stretch. He's got all his old band members from Trapeze on here. If you're like me, you're a completist, you need to have it. So, one more album in the 70s. This comes out in 1979. Glenn does not even get credit on the album. I'm guessing he probably didn't get any royalties either, going by the way things ran in rock and roll back in the 70s. This is a little vanity project called Four on the Floor. The brainchild of Jeff Skunk Baxter, you know, extraordinary guitarist, played with Steely Dan. I think he did a stint with Doobie Brothers for a while, right? Does a lot of session work. Speaking of session work, the other guy who's the brainchild of this is Al Cooper. You know him from Blood, Sweat, and Tears, and then producing, session musician. So, and they get Glenn on vocals because he's actually a perfect singer for this kind of album, because this is a disco album, and it's nothing but covers. And they do, remember the song by Bobby Heinlein, Gypsy Woman? She was a gypsy woman. Really great song. Side 2. It is just a Rolling Stones medley. It's Let's Spend the Night Together, Lady Jane, Paint It Black, Under My Thumb. Okay? So there you go. That takes care of Mr. Glenn Hughes in the 1970s. Like I said, I do not do long-form videos. So I'm not sure how many this is going to stretch out to, because Glenn has some decades that are more active, less active. But whatever happens, I thank you for tuning in. and go spin some Glenn Hughes today. Thank you.